Whose resources do we use? Global economic development. AP World History, topic 6.4. The global economy between 1750 and 1900 got crazy. This era is like a giant worldwide shopping spree for resources. Why? Two big reasons. Factories needed stuff to lunch on, and people in cities were hungrier than a teenager after school. Factories need raw materials. Imagine factories in the Industrial Revolution as insatiable beasts who always wanted more to eat. These factories needed raw materials to produce goods. It would be like if your gaming console always needed to eat new games to keep you entertained. Egypt, for instance, turned into a cotton powerhouse. They produced so much cotton, it was like they'd discovered a gold mine, but for fluffy white plant fluff. This cotton was then shipped off to European factories to be turned into clothes and textiles. Factories and raw materials. Factories were ravenous for resources. This demand often led to exploitation. In Egypt, for instance, the cotton boom wasn't all fluffy and light. It involved intense labor and often exploitative conditions for the workers in the fields. The focus on cotton also led to neglect of food crops, contributing to local food shortages. Feeding urban populations. With people swarming into cities, they needed food and lots of it. It's like hosting a party where everyone shows up hungry. Countries like Argentina and Uruguay stepped up, becoming the world's beef butchers by providing heaps of meat. In the same vein, West Africa got into the palm oil business, which was used for cooking and in industrial products. Urban population and food supply. In places like Argentina and Uruguay, while they became the meat suppliers of the world, this boom had environmental impacts. The expansion of ranching often led to deforestation and altered landscapes. Similarly, the palm oil trade in West Africa led to exploitation of workers and the disruption of local ecosystems, as forests were cleared for palm oil plantation. Guano. Yes, bird poop. Here's a bizarre twist. Guano, bird droppings, was a hot commodity. Peru and Chile were sitting on mountains of this stuff, which turned out to be an excellent fertilizer. It's as if they struck oil, but, well, bird style. This guano was exported to rejuvenate overworked European soil. The guano craze. The guano trade in Peru and Chile wasn't just a quirky historical footnote. It led to environmental degradation, as the extraction of guano disrupted local ecosystems and bird populations. Moreover, the labor conditions on the Guano Islands were harsh and often inhumane, with workers living in terrible working conditions. Resource trade and wealth. These various resources, cotton, meat, palm oil, even bird poop, were like golden tickets for the countries that produced them. They sold these resources and used the profits to buy manufactured goods, creating a global exchange network. It was like a grand international barter system. I'll give you my cotton for your machinery. Resource trade and wealth disparity. While the resource trade generated wealth, it also often deepened inequalities. Countries that exported raw materials frequently found themselves stuck in a cycle of dependency, selling resources but becoming reliant on manufactured goods from industrialized nations. This pattern laid the groundwork for economic disparities that continue to affect global relations. Rubber, the gold of the tropics. The Amazon and Congo basin became epicenters of rubber production. Rubber, essential for everything from tires to waterproof clothing, was as sought after as the latest tech gadget today. These regions churned out rubber like it was going out of style, which it definitely wasn't. Rubber production and human suffering. The rubber trade in the Amazon and Congo basin was particularly notorious. In the Congo, under King Leopold II of Belgium, rubber extraction was marked by extreme brutality, forced labor, and horrendous human rights abuses. In the Amazon, indigenous populations were exploited and decimated, suffering greatly due to European demand for rubber. Here we have Tipu Tip. He was the second most successful slave trader in history after Mansa Musa. He both sold King Leopold his slaves, and he also sold King Leopold his force publique, which did the terrible things like cut off hands and kill people. In conclusion, from 1750 to 1900, the world became a vibrant market. Nations focused on their best outputs, be it farm goods, raw materials, or odd items like guano. They exchanged these for the advanced products of industrial lands. This era paved the way for our current global economy, marked by the constant movement of resources and goods, fulfilling endless needs and wants. This time was more than just economic rise in world trade, though. It also brought great pain, misuse, and harm to the environment. These grim sides show us that building the global economy often had steep costs. They shape our world still. Which do you think were the worst? Tell us in the comments. Like the video and subscribe for more.